No problem. Okay, Vinny, you should be promoted to panelist. Let me just make sure we get this right. So Vinny is going to ask the first couple of questions for Sky, then we'll go to Ian Abrahams from TalkSport, and then we'll go through the other hands that we've got up. We can't get through everyone. We'll get through as many as we can. Vinny, you've got the first few questions. Fire away.
Jurgen, first of all, in the past week, obviously you've won your opening Champions League game. You're now level on points at the top of the Premier League as well. But what's been the most encouraging aspect, what you've seen from your players in that time?
Oh, look, the last week was not the best week of our lives. Let me say it like this. It started with a really good football game with some things which we obviously didn't like and which don't help. And so then it's all about showing reaction, because you cannot influence the things what happen to you in life, but you can influence the response you show. And I like the response, to be honest. It was the boys were really ready to work extremely hard again, show real resilience, fighting for a result, digging in, all these kind of things, which is important. I expect that actually, but after the very, very long, very, very good time we had, it's then possible that people react differently, and my boys didn't. So they did exactly what I thought they will do. They fought as much as they could, and we won both games. So that was the part I liked most.
In terms of the squad as well, Jurgen, how are you looking injury-wise? I'm thinking obviously Naby Keita, Thiago, Joel Matip. Are they available for Champions League action this week?
Don't think so.
How long are you looking at for those three?
Oh, it's still what I said last week. We look day by day, but it seems, it looks like that it will. We need a few more days. So for tomorrow night, they probably will not be ready.
Okay, fantastic. We go to Ian for two questions, or one question for TalkSport, and then we'll go through the list. After that, we'll go to Lace Vogue, who I'll promote to panelist. Ian.
Hi, Jurgen. Sort of two questions in one. First of all, how much are you looking forward to, again, being back at Anfield and maybe exercising the ghosts of Atletico Madrid from last year? And how much do you know about Midtjylland and what sort of threat they'll pose you?
Since yesterday, I know a lot. Before that, to be honest, I knew a little bit about what the story of the club, if you want, the things they tried, using science a different way, working really very specific, very interesting project, I have to say. And so now, since yesterday, I saw plenty of games and some summaries, and so now I'm in the picture. And they are good. They're really good. And the 4-0 against Atlanta was not a 4-0. Maybe it was a 4-0 because that's the result, but it didn't look like this kind of game. They were really in the game. Possession, it was pretty level, both teams. The football playing side, different ideas, depends to what the opponent. So they are flexible as well. So it's a challenge. It's a real challenge. And we have to be ready for it. And that's what we try to be.
They're kind of modelled, or they're owned by the people that own Brentford as well. So they're all sort of modelled together, aren't they, really?
Yeah, I said it's interesting. So they actually, meanwhile, 5 years ago, but in my break, I was interested to go there for a while, Midtjylland or Brentford, just to have a look what they do exactly. So, but then I signed for Liverpool, so I couldn't do that. But that shows just it was already 5 years ago, pretty interesting, and it is still. So yeah, it's a interesting approach.
Okay, thank you, Ian. We go to Lass. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. And after Lass, we go to Kenneth. So Lass, I presume you're from Denmark.
Yeah, indeed. Hi, Jurgen.
Hi.
You coached a couple of Danish players through your years in the Bundesliga. What is your general impression of Danish football players?
I'm not sure of mine. If Leon and Bo, who do you have? Mohammed? Is Mohammed Zidane a Danish football player? No,
half Danish.
Yeah, half Danish, I take that. They're all pretty different. So Bo became, meanwhile, a pretty promising manager. Mohammed is a businessman. And I don't know exactly what Leon is doing in the moment, but I think he's still living in Germany. So brilliant characters. What can I say? Hardest worker, funny people. If they are role models for all Danish people, then congratulations. So that's I only have good experience with them, to be honest. I like the country, always did. Was there as a kid already on holiday. Don't know exactly why, but I was there. So and it's all, I have only good memories on that. So, but now we play Midtjylland, and I don't know how much that says about Danish football in general or whatever. It's just what it shows about football in general is that a lot of things are possible if you think quicker or different to other people. If you try it in a different way, then you can, make big jumps. I think in Denmark, pretty much the Copenhagen teams were used to be the main teams, and now this team is disturbing that a little bit, and they have all my respect, to be honest. So we are not like this, that we think we are Liverpool and they are Midtjylland, and we don't know exactly how we write it. We really respect them a lot because we understand football, and in football a lot of things are possible in a positive way if you show the right attitude, in a negative way if you don't show the right attitude. I'm sure Midtjylland will show the right attitude, so we have to do that as well. We have to bring our 100%, and then we have a chance, and we don't need more.
Okay, we're going through the questions as much as we can. Next one is Kenneth, and after Kenneth, we go to Nate Williams. So Kenneth is next, who I think is also from Denmark. Kenneth.
Yes, hello.
Yes,
I'm the hometown of Midtjylland, Herning in Denmark. Jurgen, could you talk a little bit more about how you're approaching this game and what you think about it?
I know. How we approach the game?
Yeah.
Sorry, we are not private. So you know it's a press conference.
Yes, I know.
We will not. Yeah, good. So nothing need to say about it. So look, you know what Midtjylland is doing. Midtjylland different styles. So they have a playing build-up, or they are a bit more direct in their build-up, stuff like this. You press them high, then they play more long. All these kind of things. They have really experienced defenders, good footballing midfielders, speed on the wings, physicality in the center up front, and they have a clear plan. And so we have to see. We have a clear plan as well, which is adaptable, I would say. We will try that. So we have to make decisions before the game, and then we have to make a lot of good decisions in the game, and then we have to show proper that we are ready for a proper fight, because that's what I actually expect. And so that's it. That's our approach.
Fantastic. Okay, we've got Nate Williams followed by Chris Bascom, and we'll keep going through the names. Nate, over to you.
Hi, Jurgen. It's Nate Williams from Germany, DPA. I just had a question about German football and their philosophy. Bayern were very successful last year in winning the Champions League. And have you integrated any German philosophies from football into your team when you won the league last year and obviously the Champions League the year before?
I don't know anything about country-based philosophies. Oh, that's not 100% right. So, like we say, maybe the Spanish philosophy is a very technical philosophy. Let me say it like this, and maybe Germany is. I'm not sure exactly what our image is, but maybe less so technical, more from a fighting point of view. So I am German. I lived for the majority of my life in Germany. I'm educated there. I'm raised there. So probably, yes, some German things will be in my philosophy. But unfortunately for you, or for the question, I never thought about my philosophy really. I just what I did, what is right, and didn't write it down or told anybody. So that's it. Yes, we are 100% influenced by German things, but not only, because I have only one German player in my team, if I'm right. Yeah, Joel. And all the other players are coming from all over the world, and they are much more influential on our actual philosophy than I could ever be. Because as a coach, you have to try to understand what your team is able to do, and then you have to use that and to help them, obviously. But it's all based on their character, on their identity, and so it's a mix of pretty much a lot of philosophies.
Okay, Chris Bascom followed by Jonas. So Chris Bascom first, then we'll go to Jonas.
Hi again. I was just wondering, I think the quarterfinals last year were played when you were at your pre-season camp, and I think the team gathered and watched some of the games. Was there a real sense watching that of can't let that happen again this year? You know, you really felt as though you should be part of that was the last 8, wasn't it? When they had I think when you would have been in pre-season.
Should not happen again, of course, but it's far away. Yeah? So we played a really good game. I know people forget that. They tend to forget that when you lose a game, but we played a really good game at Madrid. Lost there 1-0, but we're in the game against a difficult side to play. I played a super game at home, which we lost. Sounds crazy, but we played a really good game. And what can you do more than being one time at least level and one time the better team? That means usually if you use your chances that you go through. So performance-wise, it was not a problem. It was a very strange time. That time we heard the day before a lot of things, 2 days, 3 days before, a lot of things. It was the last game before lockdown. So this is not an example for what how we should do it or how we shouldn't do it. Football-wise, it can be, but all the rest around was completely different. So, but we love that competition, and we still love it, even when we got knocked out last year, a bit too early. But it's still different times. So it's Europe, it's Champions League, it's Anfield, it's at home, but there's no crowd here. But it's still the competition we love. And I hope we showed that already last week, and we have to show that tomorrow night again. And then we will see how far we can go. But there are no guarantees, but a lot of opportunities. And I like opportunities. And so let's try and give it a proper try.
Okay, we're down to the last few questions now, guys. I'm not going to get to everyone who's got their hands up. We'll go to Jonas Dalgard, and we'll go to Andy Hunter, and we'll try and get one more after that. Jonas first.
So, Jurgen, I have a question about the throwing coach, Thomas Grønnemark. Considering your knowledge of his work, do you prepare any different way on FC Midtjylland that also works with Grønnemark?
And Ajax used to work with him. We had a Thomas Grønnemark group, pretty much. So we saw the influence, actually, really, in the analyze. We saw the influence of Thomas when we watched Midtjylland now. And I think he will be proud of that. But it was a pretty silent week. Thomas is a 100% professional, and we don't ask him now what are they doing, and they don't, and he would not give Midtjylland the answer what will they do. That's just how professionals work. So he's a super guy, helped us a lot. But throw-ins are always like a big part of our, maybe a bigger part than for some other teams, you know, for our preparation for the games. But it's not the only part. So we have to think about a lot of things, and we know that they will not make a lot of mistakes around throwing. Let me say it like this. So they will have their routines, like we have a few, and in the end, we have to make sure that we can use ours and deny theirs.
Okay, fantastic. That was the same question Andy Hunter was going to ask, so I can remove Andy from the panelists. We'll get last two. Then is going to be, apologies again for the pronunciation, Jep Lawson Brock. Jeppe. Anyway, far away. What I say doesn't matter. Jeppe.
Exactly. Right. Perfect pronunciation.
Yeah.
Mr. Klopp, obviously you're used to playing big teams in the Premier League all the time, and in the final games of the Champions League. But what do you think about meeting a smaller team from a smaller country in the Champions League? What do you think about these?
I like it. So, ladies and gentlemen, you Danish guys, you have obviously to work a little bit on your confidence, because we don't see you as a small club. We see you really as a team, a proper challenger in this group. Midtjylland is not part of the group. Nobody in the Champions League is part of the group because they are nice cities or whatever. They are just there because they are good football teams, because they earned the right to be in the Champions League in the season before. And Midtjylland, after they had an impressive comeback against Brøndby, are now top of the table as well, I think. So it means they are good again, not only last year. Don't know exactly how many players they lost, because I didn't watch games from last year, only from this year. But it is just a good football team. And in football, that's the thing we probably all love most about it. Pretty much everything is possible. We use that from time to time for us. So maybe from another perspective, but I'm sure Midtjylland sees it exactly the same way. So they don't wave already with the white flag. So they will be here and try to do everything they can. It was always the case and was never different. And I would expect that exactly like that, and we respect that. And so there's no smaller team in the Champions League. There are only teams. And how small, how big you are, you show on the pitch in the game and not in any press conferences before.
Fantastic. Then the final question is going to be Sammy Pettersson. This is the final question to Mr. Klopp. Reminder again that Alisson Becker will be our player in a few moments' time. And also a reminder, if you want a recording of this, you need to contact UEFA. But Sammy, the final question in the press conference to our coach.
Yes, hello, Mr. Jurgen Klopp. Sammy from Copenhagen here. I was wondering, what do you have to say about you lost Virgil van Dijk to a serious injury, and you played two games without Virgil van Dijk. You won the 2 games, but what do you see in the defense? How are you coping with without Virgil in the defense, do you think?
As good as possible. Look, every team in the world would miss Virgil van Dijk. He is the best centre half in the world. So that's of course not an easy thing to do. And then you play the game, he gets injured, and you play 3 days later the next game. So you have to build your new lineup. Virgil is not only the best centre half, he could play on pretty much all the games in the last 2.5, 3 years since he's here. And so of course that's difficult to do, because all the boys played together with Virg, but they didn't play too often together with each other. And then Joel Matip was injured as well, so that doesn't help. Then Fabinho, the usual 6, has to play in centre half. Joey is obviously his position, so that then helps then. And then Trent and Robbo left and right, so they are not used to each other as much as pretty much all other pairings. And for that we did pretty well, and that will get better 100%, because unfortunately pretty much all the things in life need time, and defending needs time as well to bring it on a specific level, especially. And so as a start it was okay, but we all expect pretty much not perfection, but not too far from perfection from us, and that means there's space for improvement. That's okay, but how is that? Everybody needs time to replace a massive player or person or whatever, but so far we did okay.
Fantastic, thank you. Yes, and just a reminder, guys, if you want to stay on the line, everybody.
I don't want.
Not you.